Hello my dear INFJ entrepreneurs, welcome back to another video, or if you're listening to this one on the INFJ Entrepreneurs podcast, welcome back to the podcast. Now, if this is your first time ever watching me, I'm an INFJ. I've been in business for the past 6 years and I help grow businesses online. Now, today I want to talk about the INFJ Overwhelm, which if you are in business or even if you are in a process of building one, this is something that you can actively experience. And in this video, we're going to talk about not only what the INFJ overwhelm is, but also how do you get out of it. I believe that because INFJs, we have massive visions. Sometimes that vision can feel overwhelming in terms of, okay, so what do I do about it? I was actually reading this morning in a forum about INFJs and how we have these big missions. And an INTJ, someone commented that imagine that you're trying to eat an elephant in one go. So you would not want to eat an elephant in one go. You would want to eat an elephant bite by bite, okay? And I feel like that's something we need to get reminded of. But I also want you to enter with me in this experience, and if you allow me, I would like to share my own personal stories. So I create videos just like this one, but for my own main business as well. This is where clients find me. This is where I can build connections and relationships with them at scale. So by the time they come to me, they have a pretty good sense of who I am and what I do. And because of that, what I do right now is actually part of my business. It's a really big part of it. I create reels and shorts and podcasts and the way of expressing. So there is something that this is part of my job as I'm growing, and visibility is I'm in marketing. This comes with the territory, okay? And in order for me to be more consistent with my work and allocate my energy where it should go, I hired a video editor that long term unfortunately did not work out for me. So after letting her go and making the decision to find a better fit, I suddenly found myself overwhelmed by the mere thought of putting an ad out there and having like 60 people commenting that they can help me edit my videos. Because that process, I remember the first time when I was looking for one, was very overwhelming to me. And in the meantime, I am running a program actually for entrepreneurs. So because I run a program called Empathy as We Know It, and this is part of the body of work that I'm building in terms of how do we cultivate relational intelligence in business and more emotional intelligence in business. What I have done is I deliver the program live. So I show up just like this and I deliver the program live. And what I have noticed is that somehow the quality of the camera was not so good that occasion. And I found myself overthinking like, okay, I want better quality for the people who come to my program, but also overall on social media, I want to make sure that whatever I put out there is a better quality. And so I found myself thinking I need to buy a new camera. And that sent me down on another overwhelming round, right? Because now I thought I need to hire a video editor, which already is a very overwhelming task. I also need to buy a camera. And I thought to myself, like, I need to invest into the most expensive camera because ChatGPT sent me on an analysis paralysis and told me that's the best. And I'm like, this is so expensive. I'm not sure if I need that. But that was overwhelming. And then my partner came in, like, he really wanted to help. But he said, if you buy these very expensive cameras, you also need to buy a new laptop because you won't be able to do anything with the footage because these have like 100 gigabytes of, these give you like 100 gigabytes of footages that then you would need to do something and edit with. And yes, you can hire a video editor, but at the same time, you would also sometimes want to edit your own footage and your current laptop is not good enough to do that. So I'm like, okay, now I need a laptop. I need a new camera and I need to hire someone else to help me with my videos. And this week I was in like a frozen yogurt state, a froyo state that sent me into freeze because I thought, where do I even begin? Like, do I research on cameras? And I was looking at cameras, but then I was getting frozen by how expensive they were. Like, we're looking at $5,000 for a camera and a lens, for the production quality that I was advised from ChatGPT that I should need. And I found myself in, okay, so who do I talk to in terms of video editing? And just like, okay, do I post on Fiverr? Like, that sent me into overwhelm. And I found myself like, okay, now I guess I need to look for laptops. So I found myself like Googling and trying to find which is the laptop for me. And I wasn't in a happy place. That was yesterday. I officially hit the wall of overwhelm and I got into a freeze mode because I was like, which fire should I start putting out? I don't know. Because every task, even though they're not that massive, but my NI, the big vision, jumped into the end of it and I looked at that and that overwhelmed me. And many times that's exactly what is happening to us. Like we see the big vision and we think, okay, wait a minute, I first need this, I first need that, and then I have to learn. Like we almost like we see these invisible steps that we have to take in order to get to an outcome, but the outcome and the steps, the worst feeling ever. Like where do I even start, right? And I have to remember, and if this is you, if you want to achieve something, if you want to do something, if you're building something, or you find yourself in an overwhelming situation and you feel like there's no way I can do this, like there's no way, this is too much, this is gonna help you a lot, okay? So the way for an INFJ like us to get out of overwhelm and freeze is to start moving. And it doesn't mean that you should start moving by, what do you mean? Like start moving? No, I mean like start taking any action. All we want to get you back to motion because you were sitting in overthinking, analyzing, overwhelm, and that's not a state that you can reliably start making decisions. And so what happens is that when we freeze in our brain, we are frozen, our nervous system is overwhelmed. It feels like everything is just so hard that the best thing to do is just any emotion, any action. So what I did yesterday is, first of all, I started questioning the pattern before acting. So I thought to myself, okay, I want to look at each of my problems, and I grabbed my notebook, which we all have. We love notebooks. And I put down all the imagined problems, right? So, for example, I had this imagined problem or constraint that in order for me to be successful and to create content that people like, I would have to have a certain equipment. That's the thought. And then I asked myself this question: do I know anyone who does not have the perfect equipment but still is very successful? Yes, I do. And in your case, it's gonna be your own problem with your own questioning, okay? The second question, okay, I don't have a video editor right now, but am I able to still create content even if I don't have a video editor right now? Yes, I am. In fact, I'm doing it now because I also know how to edit my own videos. I've been doing it before I hired anyone. Maybe I have to allocate some more time, but it would not stop my creative process in a more tangible way because I also know how to do it, and maybe it can be a bit less production value until I find the perfect person next time. Then I ask myself this question, okay, can I use my laptop as is for now until I figure out what is the next best step for me? Yes, it's working perfectly. It doesn't have a huge RAM, but it still is working and I'm still able to work with it. In fact, that's what we are using now. And the video that you're seeing right now has been edited with this laptop, with the camera that I used to use, my old camera, my old microphone, using my own skills. So when we have this is my problem and this is the constraint, and it can be for you guys, it can be so insidious because it can just be, oh, I'll take that one more course, or I need that one more information for me to be able to move forward to the next step. It can be something personal to you, but I want you to put down those overwhelming constraints and try to see if you can refute those claims with counterexample. And then we move into action. So what I've done is I grabbed my phone and whatever came to mind, whatever lesson I learned that day, I just posted a reel very quickly. I remember just grabbing my phone, just talking out of what I was learning that day and just hit post. That's all I did. And that really unlocked me into now it feels like it's less overwhelming. And I remember just creating this post on Facebook and asking my entrepreneur friends, like, how are you not gone mad in this journey? And I had people commenting, a friend reaching out like, hey, are you stressing? What's going on? And just that act of putting that out there and people commenting and giving their advice helped me just to feel at least heard. But I was still out there and I was still in conversations with business owners, and it felt like, okay, we are back in motion, we are back in doing energy, right? Because sometimes when everything feels overwhelming, you think that only you have to just wait some more and prep some more, learn some more, instead of getting out there and just do some more. So I let myself post a video. I actually then sat down to film an entire 1-hour module inside of Empathy as We Know It, my program that I'm running right now, and redid that whole recording better than ever. And then sat down to record an INFJ video for you yesterday. And then today I'm recording another one for you. And to me, that's where we are back on track. We are moving again. And you could argue that all my problems I was stressing out about and feeling overwhelmed about yesterday, they are still there. But you know what happened? When that entrepreneur reached out to me yesterday and he said, what's up? Are you stressing? I said, no, I'm just overwhelmed. And he's like, what happened? It's like, I let my editor go and I need to find someone else. And he said, you know what? I can help you. Like, what do you need? And I told him what I need. And he's like, okay, let me see who I can find for you. Because apparently he's working with entrepreneurs who are in need of video editors all the time. He's growing Instagram for people. You see how I feel like the INFJ, we can be like, oh, we got this. We'll figure it out. We don't need any help. At the minute we are starting to move and take action, we help ourselves, but then it's only then we are more receptive for outside help and support. And sometimes, guys, all we need is just to get back to motion again. And that's exactly what has helped me. So if you're ever feeling like this is too much, this is overwhelming, you're overthinking, you're over prepping, it can just be that you just need to start doing anything. At this point, an email would help, a reach out would help. You just ask a friend, hey, you happen to know someone? Any action, I'm telling you, any action that you do around your business will help you out of overwhelm. Because you could argue problems are still there, but they don't feel like they stop me anymore. So I can free up my bandwidth to just keep in motion and let myself, you know, I'll figure it out as I go. Like, it's not priority. This still works. Let's keep going. And I think the trap is that it makes you stop. We feel like we need to stop to sit back and evaluate and trying to think our way out of a problem. And that's the trap, really, because when you are thinking and trying to think your way out of problems, and you're thinking, I have these invisible constraints that I have to figure out, what's end up happening is you get stuck in the problem longer than you should. And when you're stuck, it's not easy to keep moving. It's not easy to get to moving again. So the goal is to not stop, is to put those actions and let yourself move forward by actually moving your body, okay? And one of the key INFJ hacks that I learned over the years, which is very contradictory to everything that you might think is true, but for INFJ, you act first and then clarity will come to you. I swear to God, you act yourself out of uncertainty, and as you're acting, you'll figure it out. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this one. I hope this was helpful and it was helpful for you when you're experiencing overwhelm. Just notice the signs. You're overthinking it, like, what do I do? Just start acting, okay? And if you're not already a member of our INFJ Entrepreneurs Facebook community, I'm gonna put a link in the description of this episode, and we'd love to see you on our virtual hangouts. We meet every single week. In fact, we're meeting this upcoming Thursday for the April hangout. And I feel like we're going to talk about overwhelm. This is going to be our main discussion topic of the month. We usually have our own discussion topics we bring. Last month, we discussed handling rejection. So for us, this is something that keeps that conversation going. helps you feel like you're not insane. We are in this together, we're all experiencing it, and just like have a bit of a bonding moment for the types, for our own type. Okay, so would love to see you inside of the community. If you want to join, just make sure you fill out the form so I can add you to our emailing list, and whenever we have events, new videos, news, anything that might be of help for you, that you will get notified. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this one, and don't forget, courage over fear, progress over perfection. Very important.